The Visit is a comedy horror, although I found it to be more a comedy than a horror. It's not a particularly scary film. There are a couple of jumpy moments throughout the film, but you see them coming from a fairly long way away, so they don't really alarm you. Instead, it's kind of more a weird, creepy film. There's a sense of tension and dread throughout the film, and things look like they're going to happen one way, and then it doesn't really eventuate. It's kind of that kind of film, not so much a horror for me. In fact, if anything, it plays on the horror tropes and sends it up a little bit, makes fun of the whole genre. It's quite a clever film. There's lots of in-film references which you don't get until after you've seen the film, and then you think back about what they might have meant. So it's a really good, fun film. Having said that, there is a little bit of violence in the film. It mostly happens toward the end. So you see somebody being attacked with a shard of glass. You don't actually see the wounding happen, so you don't see any injury detail. You do see some blood spatter though. You also see someone grabbed from behind and it looks like they're being eye gouged. Again, you don't actually see the detail. You also see a head being rammed repeatedly in a refrigerator, but it's framed from quite a distance, and there's other things in shot which obscure the injury actually happening, so you don't see it in close up. It's mostly implied. In the street, there is someone run at and they're pushed and knocked over, and there's a bit of yelling associated with that scene. There's also a few kind of jumpy moments throughout the film where people are kind of grabbed on the leg and things like that, and you hear strange noises and knocking, doors that appear to be opening by themselves, and you hear heavy breathing. So there's that sort of tension and suggestion in the film which keeps you taut and ready for something to happen, but like I said, it doesn't always happen the way you think. There is, you do see a couple of corpses in the film. So you see two bodies which look like they may have been bludgeoned. You also see someone swinging by their neck in a tree. So, but it's very quick. So the implication is there that they've been hung to death. But it isn't lingered on, the vision isn't lingered on at all. It's kind of there and then it's gone. There's also discussion about dead people, but they're just mentioned, and it's a bit creepy. Some otherworldly kind of characters are suggested, ghostly characters are talked about. There's a woman seen brandishing a knife, and there's some threatening behaviour, but again, nothing comes of that either. There is no sex in the film, but there is a little bit of nudity. You do see one woman fully nude from behind, and in another scene you also see an exposed bum cheek. You see people wearing swimwear, so you see some cleavage as well. You don't see any kind of alcohol or drug use throughout the film. There is one reference, you see a child kind of makes a smoking gesture. It could just be a reference to smoking cigarettes, or it might be a reference to smoking marijuana. It isn't kind of specified. It isn't clear either what he's actually doing. It could just be a simple smoking gesture. You also see a box of pills on a bedside table, prescription pills. There's one gross out gag in the film. It's really high on the yuck factor, and I promise you that once you see it, you will have a lot of trouble unseeing it. You'll certainly know what I mean when you see it on screen. But there's nothing else really offensive about the film. There is a little bit of swearing though. The F word is used once or twice, likewise the S word and the A word, and there's a few derogatory terms for women which are mostly used in song lyrics. The Visit is directed by M. Night Shylamalan and represents a rather fantastic return to form for him. Like I said, it's a very creepy and effective film rather than a kind of scary, forgettable horror movie. The film stars Ed Oxenbould and Olivia DeJonge. It also stars Kathryn Hahn, Peter McRobbie and Deanna Dunagan. And you can read my full breakdown of the film at cinemum.net.